What's going on, everyone? By now, most, if not all of you, have already heard about Steve Nash being fired from the Brooklyn Nets as the head coach. They both kind of said it was a mutual, departure, but reality, it was time for him to go, and Ime Udoka is supposed to be the one stepping in line, at least at the time of recording this video. Did a whole deep dive on that whole situation and how I feel about that situation, how the Nets seem to just be kind of making the same mistakes over and over and over again. I'll link that video down in the description below. Go check it out after this video. But in this video, what I want to talk about is the potential of Ime Udoka being a sign of something different, right? Now, we know the Brooklyn Nets are kind of in this rock and a hard place, right? They have a team that just doesn't seem like they're really competing. They're terrible defensively. They're too reliant on Kevin Durant. No one else is really helping. Kyrie Irving's likely leaving after this season. Kevin Durant already wanted out. He didn't believe he could win in Brooklyn, and his point is being proven. And I don't think Ime Udoka is going to come in and change all that. He does have familiarity with this team, but even then, he's a great defensive-minded style coach, but we saw a lot of lack in the offense with the Boston Celtics. A lot of you go, I go, you go, I go with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, which probably isn't going to translate well with the Brooklyn Nets, right? Because it's kind of what they're doing right now, and it's not really working. There's a lot of questions on how much can Ime Udoka actually change the fate of the Brooklyn Nets, especially in such a quick turnaround, right? Because, again, you likely only have this year, and Kyrie leaves, and then Kevin Durant's going to want out, and it's a big mess. But what if they are getting Ime Udoka to start blowing it up, right? So, for example, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant very likely this is probably going to be the last season, right? Kyrie's very likely going to the Lakers, whether it's in trades this season or in the offseason. He's going to go sign with the Lakers. The Lakers have also kind of tried to preserve cap and even made deals to kind of free up as much cap space as possible, with all signs pointing to that's why they want to go and do with that cap is go get Kyrie Irving, right, to pair with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Kevin Durant, he already wanted out once. He wanted to give them a chance. He gave them a chance. It's not working. He's likely going to want to be gone. And there will be no shortage of suitors for Kevin Durant. Even after the whole offseason mess and teams that kind of came and went, there will be more teams, especially come the trade deadline. I'm sure there will be all kinds of teams that are willing to give up stuff because they believe they're a Kevin Durant away from winning an NBA championship, or they're a Kevin Durant away from, going to the next step. A disgruntled star wants out, wants a change of scenery, and now they can package that person and some draft picks or something to go get Kevin Durant. Whatever the end result is, Kevin Durant is going to get you a hefty return that's going to give you a nice rebuild. You're going to end up trading Kyrie Irving to the Lakers. You could probably work out a 3-team deal. The Lakers will essentially go get you whatever you want to get Kyrie Irving, or whatever they're capable of with their draft picks and stuff, and Russell Westbrook. And they could trade a Patrick Beverley and stuff to maybe go get you pieces. Maybe you work out a 3-team deal, get a Miles Turner, right? I've talked about this before. You know the Pacers deal is on the table. If you're the Brooklyn Nets, you could say, hey, go do the Pacers deal. Give us Miles Turner and, Patrick Beverley or something like that. We'll give you Kyrie Irving. Boom. Problem solved. Everyone's happy. The Brooklyn Nets, they get an asset that they can keep for now and the future, a defensive center that could be, sort of the foundation of their defense going forward. You're probably not going to be able to trade Ben Simmons, and even if you did, you're probably going to get pennies on the dollar, so you probably want to keep Ben Simmons, and you hope that somebody like Ime Udoka can turn him into like a defensive juggernaut and maybe kind of reshape his career. And you got like a Miles Turner and a Ben Simmons to kind of build going forward with. The Nets have wanted Miles Turner and have tried to trade for him on several occasions, and at least you get something for Kyrie Irving. But when it comes to Kevin Durant, what if they did the Boston Celtics deal? The Celtics were a team that was a front runner for some time, and a Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and some first round picks, maybe a Derek White, something like that for Kevin Durant, because the Boston Celtics believed that they were a Kevin Durant away from winning a championship. Also, there's a lot of concerns that Jaylen Brown is going to leave after next season because he's not going to sign a contract extension because of the way that the extension system works. is Jaylen Brown would actually make more money just being a free agent. And he wants to be a number one guy. He doesn't want to be in the shadows. There's a lot of questions and concerns about that. Jaylen Brown is having a great year this year. So the Boston Celtics could look at it as like, hey, let's sell him now while the value's so high. Like, when do you have an opportunity to get a Kevin Durant? And it would actually make a lot of sense for the Brooklyn Nets now, because you get the coach that has the experience and has the relationship with the Jaylen Brown and a Marcus Smart. And just think about it. Let's say they go and they do the Celtics deal, right? And they do give up Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and like 2 first-round picks. One, they got the Marcus Smart replacement in Brogdon, right? Malcolm Brogdon, you got him. There's your sort of, Marcus Smart 2.0, and he's been great for them. Even more of a scoring threat even. And then you're replacing Jaylen Brown with Kevin Durant, which is an upgrade. As great as Jaylen Brown is, Kevin Durant is a better version. Kevin Durant gets what he wants. He gets to go to the Celtics. The Celtics are still contenders. They're still great. And if you're the Nets, now you have Marcus Smart, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Ben Simmons, you have Seth Curry, you have Joe Harris, Nick Claxton. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on. Patty Mills, all these guys, TJ Warren is another one, right? All these guys, you're a deeper team. You're better defensively by far. I mean, you're night and day better defensively. You might be a top defensive team in the league, especially if you go and do the deal that I mentioned earlier, where you trade Kyrie Irving for a Miles Turner. I mean, imagine a starting 5 if you're the Brooklyn Nets of Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. You're probably the best defensive team in the league, especially with Ime Udoka, because he already knows how to get these guys to be elite defenders. And the Boston Celtics did not have a guy like Ben Simmons, and yeah, they had a guy similar to Miles Turner in the sense of shot blocking and stuff, but Miles Turner gives you a lot more versatility than Time Lord does, right? And you have all the shooting that the Celtics didn't have, right? So, I mean, you're deep, you're great defensively, you got the head coach, even though I kind of feel like, the Nets going and getting Ime Udoka is kind of just foolish in that sense, but sooner or later it's all going to blow over, especially if they're winning. People won't care, people won't talk about it. And now if you're the Nets, you just got a complete rebuild. You got a fresh young team with a fresh young coach that can really right the ship. You know what he can do with that Celtics team. You're basically have the same team, right? I mean, you basically have the Celtics without Jason Tatum, but you might be able to get Jason Tatum's production just because you're so deep and you have so many different guys that can do so many different things. So you're basically getting Jason Tatum's production from a collection of guys rather than just one guy. Jaylen Brown gets to be the number one guy, right? I just think it would be an awesome opportunity for the Brooklyn Nets to finally hit the reset button. And it makes so much more sense because you have Ime Udoka, right? You have a coach that's proven to be able to get the most out of Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, turn Marcus Smart into a defensive player of the year, right? Why wouldn't you use that opportunity? Like, if I was the Brooklyn Nets, I'd be hitting up the Celtics going, hey, like, so what do you think of the Celtics? Like, what do you think of the Kevin Durant deal? Like, let's get that done. Let's make this trade happen. We want Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Derek White, and 2 firsts. Now you're basically 10 players deep. You have defense, you have shooting, you have offense, you have scoring, you have a go-to closer and star, right? I mean, you have a bunch of like mid-tier guys that you could use to like leverage and go trade to go get like maybe another star or another piece that you're missing if you need it. I don't even know if they would need it. They might not need it. You might be a legit team. Like, that might be good enough to completely turn everything around. And I just think like, if you're the Celtics, I think it makes a lot of sense because, Kevin Durant, I think makes you better. How much better? I mean, that's a big question, of course. But I think you have Malcolm Brogdon, right? So he kind of helps alleviate the loss of Marcus Smart. And then you're upgrading Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. Perfect. Losing like a Derek White or something like that, yeah, that might hurt a little bit, but I don't think that it's the end of the world. Trade deadline, you could probably work out. You got assets, you got pieces, you could probably go and get another piece or two at the trade deadline to kind of piece together this team if you need to. If everyone's healthy, you're probably the best team in the Eastern Conference, right? If you're the Celtics and you go get Kevin Durant, especially the way Kevin Durant's playing this season. I mean, the dude's averaging like 36 a game or something insane like that. He's scored at least 25 plus in every single game this season. His lowest scoring total was 26 points. I mean, the dude's averaging an insane total this season. He's playing out of his mind. You get that on this team. The Celtics are a legit contender. Even with losing Marcus Smart, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown, you're still better with Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant. And then if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're a better overall team because you're going to be better defensively. You have a better coach with experience with that team. You're basically the Boston Celtics of last year. You might even be a little better, just because you have so much depth and so much shooting and so much defense and so much size and just everything. Like, you have a lot of stuff that the Boston Celtics don't have, right? Like, they don't have a Seth Curry. They don't have a, Patty Mills and a Joe Harris and a Nick Claxton and a, you know what I mean? Like, you got a lot. You got great depth at pretty much every position. You got your go-to scorer. Like, if you're the Brooklyn Nets and you're healthy, you're a top defense, you're probably a top offense, and you're probably one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. You probably are still a legit contender because you got to keep in mind the Brooklyn Nets can't tank, right? They can't. They don't own their own draft picks. And on top of not owning their own draft picks, Kyrie Irving, if he leaves and you don't get anything, then that's it. You don't get anything, right? And so now you're trading Kevin Durant. And you're probably going to get a nice return, but wouldn't you want to get something for Kyrie Irving? And I think that, picks in 2027, 2029 are irrelevant to the Nets. Like, they don't help now. You need help now. So why not have the Lakers just go to Lakers and say, hey, use your 2 picks and go get us this player that we want, or these 1 or 2 players that we want for Kyrie Irving, because all the Lakers want is Kyrie Irving. And now you just kind of retooled your entire roster and you're still a contender and all is right in the world. I don't know. It's just a thought. I think it's something that we should at least look out for. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think this is something that, if you do get Ime Udoka, it makes a lot of sense. Go do that trade. Go get it done. Brooklyn becomes better. The Celtics become better. It's a win-win. Everyone's happy. All is right in the world. Again, however you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below.